Broadcasting live from the ravaged bayous of Louisiana. Hello, everybody. We're completely doing over last week, and I apologize for I want to apologize for my chat because none of them at any time thought to tell me, "Hey, Max, your video is totally unwatchable." And I hope I'm broadcasting good now. I think I've got my little AV problem fixed. But if not, please, somebody out there in chat, tell me I can't hear a word you're saying, or I can't see you, Max, because you are a big blur. You know what? If Kaiju Kitty tells me I'm broadcasting well, then we're good to go for tonight, folks. Fantastic. Even the sounds I'm trying to hide. You know what? I sounded fine last week. If you were just in, you could have just turned off the video and listened to me and let the soothing sound of my voice guide you into the word. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, hopefully you can see me this week and it's not just this big blur. Oh, geez, man. I don't know what I know what happens. I've got it figured out. So I've got all this runs through a MacBook. That's what I, do all my AV stuff on. Well, Mac always wants to put you on Wi-Fi because that's typically what a MacBook runs on. Well, I don't have that. I've got everything running. I've got it hardlined into my router. Well, for some reason, it had me on my Wi-Fi setting, and I was trying to broadcast through that. And let me tell you, that don't work. So there's a reason I stopped doing that crap. Yeah, I don't know about the stomach grumbles. It feeling a little bloated. We're going to be waiting a little bit on one of the subjects for tonight for Mr. Robert Rodriguez to get here, because we're going to talk about Santa Jaws and the trauma that man put me through. But in the meantime, I want to shout out, as always, and remember, don't wait for your local comic book shop to sponsor you. Sponsor them. So tonight, as always, this episode is dedicated to Excalibur Comics, Cards, and Games. Go see them. They also have you can go to ExcaliburCCG.com, and I believe that you can order what you want online. What a world! What a world! Had to go make a trip this morning to Shreveport. Leah, welcome as always, and picked up my new issue of my Larry Hama G.I. Joe, because Hama can't help but get some snake eyes on the cover. And listen, there's about 4 different covers they do for each one of these issues. And for some reason, it is so rare that I can find one of these variant covers. But we're going to see. I also stopped over. Listen, Ollie's. You can get some pretty good deals on some comics at Ollie's. Normally, I like getting my comic books from my comic book shop. Supports them, makes me happy, and but that being said, no buts. That being said, um, Ollie's has got these little packets for about $5.99, and typically they're full of some image leftover stuff. So, and it's a good way to kind of get something that you wouldn't have just picked up off the shelf. So I got Midlife #1, and I haven't given it a read yet, but I am definitely going to be checking it out. Also got, and this, I've never even heard of these people. It's a Bad Idea, which is, I guess, the name of the comic company. It's called Planet Death. I got issue 0, and this is a beautiful comic. I mean, beautiful. And I am super, super excited to pick it up. And for all the little Frankies out there who think I'm a turtle hater, issue 150 of my turtles. He gets so mad at me. Oh, but anyway, yeah. So sponsor your local comic book shop. If you do a live show on YouTube, and I don't see you within the first 5 minutes, shout out your local comic book shop. You suck. Yeah, I said that. I said it. I said it. Sponsor them. They need your help. All of them. They need your support. I know it's like, but Max, if I give a shout out to this one and they've got a bunch of 1-star reviews, how does that reflect on me? Who cares? They sell comic books. There's shit behind the scenes they're doing that you'll never know about. That, and plus, they probably put up with your dumbass. So that in excess, it all by itself. If they put up with you for the 10 minutes it takes for you to mosey around and put your booger pickers all over their shit, they have earned your support. I got something else too. I wasn't going to pick these up because I have a hard time playing anymore. Not for lack of want, but I just, I don't know, but I still love the books. And Lee Greenwood is probably responsible for just as much Dungeons and Dragons as anything that Gary Gygax ever did. So I picked up the Faerun Forgotten Realms books. And I went ahead and I got the limited edition covers, even though it doesn't match. And I will give you a sneak peek. Anybody, maybe I will. Is my camera going to work? What's going on, camera? Check your gear, Max, before you start your show. One second. Aha. Hooray! So these are the Dungeon Master expansion and the player expansion. And I know there's a little bit of controversy about these editions, but you know what? Who cares? Um, Forgotten Realms are just, I have a weakness. And of course, you got your little bit of Baldur's Gate 3 references in there, but got some beautiful artwork by actual artists, not just but yeah, these are really well put together. I've been flipping through it a little bit this afternoon. Of course, you can't have Forgotten Realms and not have a little bit of Elminster. But and of course, my favorite part, maps, because you can't have a Dungeons and Dragons game and not have maps. I really should have gotten into maps as a career. I think the Dungeon Master expansion, I think, actually comes with a few level 1 games. Some little quick things to run. Might be something fun. Maybe I can, talk my kid into spending 5 minutes with me and play a couple D&D games. So that but these are really well put together and highly recommended. I miss the box sets of old, but these are just beautiful, beautiful. They're the worst. I homebrew and murder all my players. And you know what? Hey, listen, it's the great thing about Forgotten Realms is kind of like, even with Greyhawk and some of the other sets, I never really got into too much. I mean, I think a little bit with some of the Dragonlance, but I got really carried away and to the point where I just didn't even have any fun with it anymore. But Forgotten Realms was something, you've got a baseline, and from that you can just write whatever you want. It's good stuff. But Forgotten Realms is kind of, that's always been my baseline, because the world, I read a bunch of the books, and honestly, I think that's probably one of the biggest problems that they have right now, is they've got all these novels. The Harper series, fantastic. The a lot of the fantasy novels that they had were really good books. If they reprinted those today, they would have, that's what sold it for me. I would read the novels and then I'd be like, oh man, I gotta come up with that $30 for that Menzo Baranzan box set. Am I gonna play in Menzo Baranzan? No, hell no. That's a pain in the ass. But it's still something that it was good world building, and they had the media to back it up. That's what a lot of these companies today, they don't get. They don't want to take the time and have the media back it up. Um Fireball. What Harpers? I don't, Didn't see any Harpers. Ignore this pile of soldering ash behind me. I know not which thou speak. Oh, but the world building was always there, but it's kind of relevant to a lot of different things. Star Wars, it kind of them turning their back on all that. They call them legends now, but listen, it's if the fact that we don't have a Drist movie, I don't know what the problem is with what's his name? R.A. Salvatore. I think he writes, some of the greatest Star Wars novels, some of the best Forgotten Realms novels. I mean, Drist is just, everybody loves Drist. Um and it's try to find, without special ordering it, go and try to find some of those novels out. Try to find a Harper series on a bookshelf. Ain't finding it. That's I don't even know if any of the old Forgotten Realms books, the fantasy paperbacks are in print right now. I mean, I'm sure that the Dark Elf um I'm sure the Dark Elf trilogy is probably in print. Okay, quit messaging me. I'm doing a show here. Um, I see you, Matthew. Whatever you just sent me a video of, I'm gonna enjoy it as soon as the show's over. But yeah, it's I don't know. I almost I Matt, I would love it because I'm gonna tell you, it not even so much for me, but two sets of paperbacks that any of the Forgotten Realms paperbacks, I would love to get. Any of the old Robotech novels, God, I bet I worn through at least two sets of each on those because I would just read them. But I would like to get the Forgotten Realms stuff for my daughter because I know that she would love to read those. Because she has so much time on her hands. So she's like so much time. You know, I'm only working on 3 paintings, a lithograph, you know, 2 rings and a necklace, rebuilding a 65 Chevy Fastback. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, it's I really think that Wizards of the Coast, they keep trying to figure out how to, you know, overcome the problems that TSR had, which is you only need to buy the book once. Um, I've still got a lot of my second edition stuff. I don't need anything. This stuff here is 5th edition. Honestly, I don't know how to play 5th edition. I still operate under Thaco, and gonna hit that armor class 0, baby. That's my system, but I am old and, get off my lawn age. I hate you kids. You took away my Thaco. Hey, Cooter, welcome aboard, sir. Hold fast. Storms are building. And no, not Falco. Thaco. 2-hit Armor Class 0. THAC 0. THACO. That's what we called it. THACO. That was you had to math more. I shouldn't bitch. 5th edition is a whole lot less math than 2nd edition was. Second edition, kind of like Warhammer. You got charts with scales going down and all this, and you've got to remember. Man, we had so many of my early D&D books had little tabs in it, so I knew that if I was rolling against something, I had to get to page 67 on the player's handbook, because that's where the stat chart was for how much damage I did. So I didn't have to get out a calculator or do head math, because who wants to do head math? But it's, and I just, yeah, see that I can't play like that. Myself personally, listen, however you play, shaka bra, it's all good. But I have to understand the rules of a game and play it that way before I venture out. It's one reason why Warhammer was ruined for me, because the idiot who kept trying to show me how to play just wanted just free whatever, it just whatever keeps it, no, I want to understand what each hit does, what the objectives and all this. It's, I think they call them, uh, 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 a rule junkie. There's another name for it, but I don't want to give credit to that. It I like the rules, and that was once I get that, then it's fair game. I can go go anywhere with it. It just whatever keeps the game moving. Rules lawyer, there you go. Yeah, we're going to be having a discussion here in just a minute, Robert. You did this to me. Yeah, rules lawyer. But not so much. I want to be able to open up, but for me personally, I have to understand where the baseline is. Once I've got the rules and I understand them, then I could go off in any direction, however, and we always had house rules as a kid. So, it was like, this rule is complex, but I understood that rule before we changed it over and went whatever direction we're playing. And that's my problem with getting into games today. One reason why I don't play so much anymore. Like I said, I still enjoy the books. And I enjoy that, my two lovely assistants, something in my eye, they both play on a pretty regular basis, and when they've got time, and they I don't know, I probably just need to go and just jump into it feet first. So, Rowdy, you're sleepwalking on my show. That's fine. That's fine. All are welcome. All are welcome. Get woke. Oh, yes. I gave you my Scout's honor that I was going to watch Santa Jaws. Why, Robert? Why? I like bad horror movies. I like really bad horror movies. Like, but that was an abomination. I have no words. No words. If you're looking, anybody out there, you know, the first horror movie I ever watched with my daughter at when she was 3 years old was Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. You know, it she used to run around the house going, ah, brains, you know, at 3 years old. It was adorable. Um and so I set the bar the with her pretty high from the get-go. I'm like, you know, here's okay. And you know, a few jump scares and stuff like that. But and now we keep having to, you know, escalate the situation to find that darker, scarier, you know, more screwed up horror movie. And but it's still fun because I get even at 3 years old, I would not have subjected my daughter to Santa Jaws. And listen, I'm gonna tell you, it's got some funny bits. If you just no, don't. Nobody out there watch Santa Jaws. Just don't do it. Just stop. If you get into this, but I don't know. Maybe if you got some like 2-year-old nephews and it's the holidays and do it. Do it. Do it. I didn't do it. You blame Robert Diaz too. You make sure that it's like Max has no fault in this situation. This is on this is on Diaz, man. Not me. Not me. I ended up I got like it's so long too. That movie could have been I mean, basic time for distribution, you need at least 55 minutes. That should have been top end for the time on this movie, but no, no, it's close to 2 hours long. And it is every, I don't know who this movie was made for. I'm trying to, again, as I've always said on this channel, it, I really enjoy the logistics of things. And oh, Samurai Cop is solid. Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen Samurai Cop many times. That's solid. That yeah. That that is oh, c'est magnifique. Um Santa Jaws is not Samurai Cop. It's not I don't even know how to review this because again, I it says I know okay, here's Santa Jaws. The Hallmark Channel decided to make a horror movie during Christmas. You make me gotta hydrate, Robert. I don't even know if it's Hallmark. It's I want to punch the script writer. They have these devices that are gas powered for packing down dirt. I believe the channel Hand Tool Rescue rebuilt one. Gas powered, it just goes boom, 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 and just slaps dirt, impact, packs it down. I want to owl my balls, the script writer of Santa Jaws, with one of those. It had. I'm never getting that time back. Never. I don't have much left, Diaz. I'm never getting that time back. I love bad movies. I like the best way to watch Santa Jaws is once you get past the first kill scene, maybe even the setup for the second, you can start fast forwarding in about 15-minute intervals and you will miss nothing. Oh, I love that movie. I love that movie. That is just the soundtrack to that movie was magnificent. That is probably the best Phantom of the Opera story since the Lon Chaney days, and that's just those you just have to accept as amazing. But yeah, that God, I bet I've seen that movie 20 times. If it was on right now, that we'd be done. Good night, everybody. Going to watch that. Yeah. And nobody ever talks about it. Like it's one of those VHS wonders that you just happened upon one day. And oh man, I seriously did. I don't know what I could have done other than watch Santa Jaws, but it you're gonna make this up to me, Diaz. No, how you gonna do it? But you think about it this week. You come back next week. I mean, you don't have to leave now. I'm not running you off, but next week you need to come by with a friggin' gem, man. I want like a Burmese diamond, like put it in the crown. The Sultan. It's too good for the Sultan. I'm gonna do some research. You're not getting a Scout's honor on this one. I'll say maybe. Oh, Lord have mercy. That I had to question like whether I was actually watching this or whether I was having a seizure or something. That's how bad this movie was, because I was questioning like who would make this? Somebody financed this shit. Distribution rights were discussed at some point. What is going on with my focus? All right, there we go. Santa Jaws. Listen, when your sister comes to town and you've got to babysit your niece and nephew, and they're a couple little shitheads, and you just can't knock the hell out of them, put them down in a room where they can't escape and put Santa Jaws on. They'll never be the same again. And they'll never want to come back to your house again. So it's a win-win situation. See? I figured out how to put a positive spin on Santa Jaws. Dear God. I'm never, ever, I don't care how long it is, I'm never going to let you forget, Diaz, that that I promised you I was going to watch Santa Jaws, and I am nothing if not a man of my word. Can't take back a scout's honor, and I fulfilled that honor, and I don't know if I'm a better man because of it. Suburban Sasquatch. I right now I am good because I have got season 2 of One Piece, and I absolutely love that live action One Piece. Love it. I mean, like, it moves me with the positivity. It just that's how much I love that. It's what I need. Yeah, it's I watched the first episode of season 2 last night. Lovely assistant number 1 was like, "We need to rewatch season 1." So I was like, "Okay." So that yeah, let's do it. It's got a great start. I mean, they hit the ground running with that series. I know people who are up to date on every episode of the anime, and I believe the manga of One Piece. That is far. I don't have that much time left on this planet to start over with all the animated One Piece and do all that. That is just out of my reach. But I think I've watched maybe 5 or 6 seasons, and I'm just no. Now, if somebody out there in the great big world wants to do a there we go. I think this mic stand is what's screwing up my focus. If somebody out there in the great big world wants to do a One Piece abridged, kind of like the Dragon Ball Z abridged or the Hellsing abridged, that you've got my attention. I am there. I'll send you $1. But watching every episode, I think there's holy crap, how many seasons of One Piece? It's got to be at least 77 or something. It's over 1,000 episodes. I could look it up, but I don't care that much. One of you chatters will tell me, won't you? Won't you? Oh, you're winning. You're trying to talk soft to me, Diaz. Some Golgo 13. You know how to go. You know how to go straight to my heart, man. Oh man, listen, I watched all those as a kid. That's the manga is incredible. Forget the anime. It's good. But The first season of One Piece just ended. It's just one season. It's just that one season just stretched out over 1,100 episodes. I believe it. I believe it. Oh man, Kaiju, stop. We got to stop talking about Guyver because I'll talk about Guyver all day, and I got shit to do. And one of those things. So, who likes Warhammer? Did you know they started doing blind boxes? What anime ran nonstop until 2026? Which I do not disagree with you. Bubblegum Crisis, especially. Guyver is great. The Bubblegum Crisis, though, man, that is. So they actually stopped it, or they just paused? You said the anime ran nonstop until 2026. So like one episode a week. I don't know. Listen, when it comes to the history of some of that, I know it's a lot. If I started watching it today, I'm pretty sure that's. Oh, they can. Oh, you weren't kidding. Oh, that's insane. All right. Moving on up. So I haven't collected a lot of Warhammer stuff in a while. I sold off a lot of my Forge World collection, stopped playing. I absolutely don't play anymore. But I love painting minis. And Warhammer or Citadel or Games Workshop, whatever name they want to go by, started doing blind boxes. And you can get 7 different characters, one mystery guy. And they're not too bad. Little Assistant, how much were they? They're like $8 a piece. $9, and you get one figure. So, yeah, they're making bank. And I thought that tonight, we might play with them. So, or put a couple of them together. So you get a box with all your usual stuff. Nice little figure. This is the figures that you can get. I think those are, what did you figure out? Dark Angels? Yeah. I don't know. But they come with a little set of cards. So let's see. I haven't opened this little packet yet. They come with a little packet. And tells you how to put it together. And this is Brother Raphael. Come on now. So that's nice little tray of plastic. I'm not painting these tonight. What I thought about doing is putting them together tonight and painting one or two of them uh, maybe next week. Uh, I'm still, if you guys want an update on, I can show you. So that's where I am on the watercolor. Still working on background. I'm kind of in the it's a pain in the ass mode to focus on it and um and do this at the same time. So when I get into working on some of the individual pieces of it, like the samurai or the Oni mask, um, or some of the dragons or the koi sake bottle. When I get to working on some of that, I will go back to. I'll do it on a show. Um, so you get. Oh, it looks like you get three different cards with this, but only one of them is in English. So you get a little card. Um, let's see if I can do this better. There you go. So you get a little, you get this, you get a little slip right there that goes over, talks about how to put it together, which ones you can get. So this is, let's just X this off here. So we got Brother Raphael. Let's keep track of that. I think we got a duplicate. If I end up getting a duplicate, I will paint the duplicate and I'll do a giveaway and send it off to one lucky viewer. And so, yeah, you get a couple of them, one in Japanese, one I think that's in German, and then you get I don't know. I don't know if this is the new system that they're working with. Somebody out there knows all the Warhammer stuff, and it is not me. I don't know that I will ever care enough about anything other than just painting anytime in the future. So let's see. My box. See which one we got this time. Oh, okay. So it looks like I got two Brother Raphaels. So I'll keep that box. I'll send that with the giveaway. So I will be painting this guy right here. And I'll do that as a giveaway. Put the cards back in there so you get everything. And I will get that painted. We will put him together tonight. And I will paint him next week. That way, I would paint him tonight, but you got to primer these things, at least the way I paint. And that is more than I want to try to work on. Then I got to get up. I got to primer it. Pain in the ass. Kind of like watching shark jaws. Should I do a vote on whether we should do the blaster or the chainsword? Or does this guy have both? He may have both. Oh, all right. Well, maybe we'll do a vote on which head to use. He comes with two different options on the head, so we'll see. Let's see which two it comes with, and then I'll put up a vote and see which one I want to do. This is good plastic, though. None of that Hasbro shit. None of that gummy stuff. But, good plastic for me when it comes to anything Games Workshop. I've worked with the Forge World, resin casting, some of the old armor cast stuff from the 80s. You will never. Games Workshop can no longer shock me when it comes to what they use for any kind of plastic. But this is some pretty good stuff. I'm digging this. I haven't painted a Warhammer mini in a cool minute. Cleaned up here, so it looks like we've got basically your Space Marine helmet, or see if I can get these where you can actually see them. Maybe. You've got, okay. All right. So see that head there? You can either have him helmeted or unhelmeted. So let's see. Can I do how do you do? See, this is why. Don't know how to do a vote. I know there's got to be a way to do it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. On my YouTube page, if you go to the community tab, I will have, after the show, I will have I'll have a poll put up there. Or what I'll do is, and maybe I'll paint both heads. And well, actually, it looks like. All right, here's what we're going to do. I want you to mark in the comments. Do you want a helmeted head? If you want helmeted, comment 1. If you want unmasked screaming head, 2. And I will tally that up here in a little bit. We will go from there. Like these are they don't give you any, usually with you don't get any other bits with these. They I don't know if I could say you get your money's worth. I hate blind boxes, number one. All right. So we've got 3 votes already for the screaming unhelmeted. So we'll just keep that going for a bit. So that's Brother Mathiel. Let's see who else we got. This one is Brother Balath. So that's this guy. That looks like your communications guy. I usually end up when I paint, especially if I'm doing a set, I'll end up painting multiple figures at one time. Okay, so we got Brother Haroth. That's the flamer. That's this guy comes with a nice. I just wonder what this is. What these are good for. I know you can get individual. Oh, this is the captain. This is Veteran Sergeant Ramus. That guy right there. That is box 4. That's the boss. And let's see. And this guy, this Brother Zeradim. So it looks like I'm missing 2 out of this entire set. Brother Narden and Lieutenant Varial. And see, that's what I don't like about these blind boxes is you never know what you're going to get. And the construction on these, I really got to give them maybe kind of a 5 out of 10, because things like when you do a normal Warhammer miniature, heads are something that are easy to kind of change around. These have some kind of little, I mean, I'm sure I could just, do a little kit bashing with them, but they don't want you changing these heads out. They want you to put it in and set it and forget it. They've even got it to where You just almost peg it in place. So once you decide on what head you want, which it looks like the three people who have voted are all saying unmasked screaming head. Which if I paint it up like they're kind of Bandai like. You just snap it together. No glue needed. Which is kind of not normally I'm used to doing a lot more modeling with these. But the way these are going together, you don't really get any seams. So I guess when you put it together, it I've said for years that Games Workshop ought to kind of take a little bit of a cue from Bandai. No, that's not right. That can't be. This way. I I know it can't be easy to see this on camera, but this goes together almost as if it was molded in one piece. There's no seams. There's nothing that makes that you've got to. I don't have to do any work here. There's no prep work to this. You put it together and it's done. You got to drill out the barrel of that blaster, but that's well, all right, we got one. Let's put another one together. You do need a good set of nippers. I'll that you do need. See, this guy's got a helmeted and unhelmeted too, but I don't think I'm going to do. I'm going to try to shoot for just like that cover art. What? That looks good. So why not paint it up like that? So I guess you do end up with a few extra parts, but just a few extra heads that you can't ever change out. I guess it's good if if you end up with duplicates, you can have your named figures. And then, if I wasn't giving away this Brother Raphael, uh, then I could just make the second one as a helmeted figure. Bun flask. I have it backwards. Bandai's launching Gundam Assemble at the end of the year. Price point is $13 per mini in the expansions. Interesting. That I like Bandai stuff. I've got a couple of Gundams that I've assembled. Had one that I put a bunch of metal parts on. Took me about 3 months to finally get the last of it on. And all the decals. Oh shit! No. Okay. I thought I cut off more than I was supposed to. The really neat thing about these is all you really need is a pair of nippers. Normally, when I do Warhammer stuff, you need nippers, you need a small file. There's I got to get some things. All right. Look at the instructions, Max. No, I don't wanna. Oh, oh, ow. Yeah, all you really need to put one of these together is some nippers. They will still, you could definitely tell though, it is Games Workshop because it will upset your thumbs. That need to go in before. Hmm. The first Warhammer miniature I ever put together was an old Rogue Trader. It was metal. You had to drill out each piece and pin it. some days that nostalgia is a killer. And I'm like, oh yeah, I love, working with that old palladium and drilling all that shit out. Nah, it wasn't a pain in the ass. It absolutely. And then sometimes you drill it all out and get it pinned and put together, and then that thing would just fall the hell apart. All right, there is Brother Belaith. You know what this doesn't come with? Decals. So they show them all painted up here, but there are no. The pauldrons are completely bare, and there is. Yeah, my little assistant said, "Oh, you're just going to have to freehand that." No, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. All right. Number 3. And this one is. Yeah. This one? No. We. Okay. We already put together math. No, which one is this one? That's Brother Belaith. Okay. So that must be this guy. So this guy is Brother Zeradim. So that is this guy right here. And this guy right here. Somewhere, I think I've still got some water transfers. I like water transfers. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. I could do water transfers all day long. It would be just fine. Get you a little microsol solution. That stuff makes. It's not like the old days. Kids got it good. Get some microsol, and that stuff just makes water decals. They almost do themselves. I used to hate it. Hate it back in the day. You'd get this old water transfer set out of a old Revel model kit, and you didn't know if you were lucky, it was still had enough. It wouldn't all beat to hell, and those water transfers, didn't disintegrate the minute you put them in some water. Oh, I could tell you some horror stories. Horror stories, my friends. All right, get the right head on this guy. There we go. just of absolute nightmares of trying to, and tears. Some of the old Macross, the early Robotech models from back in the 80s. Um, Everything that Robert says YouTube wants me to approve. What are you doing, Diaz? Are you being naughty? Do you need adult supervision? got the mods having to but anyway, yeah, got some funny directions on these things. You almost need, I'll tell you what, if you want to save your fingers on these kits, you probably want to grab you some those plastic tipped like jeweler pliers. They're these don't just snap together like Bandai. You gotta push them together for the Emperor. I really like they've got some good detail on them too. Of course, I'll tell you one thing about Target though. We found these at Target, and apparently you can only buy two at a time. All right. There is Brother Zeradim. So we are at got one, two, three. Let's see. We're gonna save Veteran Sergeant last. So this one is Brother Naroth, the Flamer. But if you're, I don't know who. Again, Mister Logistics Max coming out. I wonder who these are marketed to. We found them over by the Pokemon cards. A little blind box section, and they had two of them, two crates of them, and they'd already been kind of gone through. These were the last 6 that they had. And the kid wanted them, and kid, She likes the miniatures. And the Warhammer shop is just, I'm pretty sure they still charge you $50 just to walk in the door. They, Warhammer has never been cheap. But if you're going to build, say, it's, yeah. Oh, really? That's interesting. I will have to check into that because if that's the case, that might be that then this is definitely what that is. Collect them all and form Kill Team Strike Force Varial. But see, there's no cross salesmanship anywhere in this. So I would have no way of knowing what these are for. And these are pretty decent little if that is what this is, then these are probably pretty decent little expansions. I used to love playing Space Hulk back in the day until they screwed up and put it on a video game, and I was like, why do I got to play it on a board game anymore? But that requires friends. Hand. Oh, all right, there it is. These kind of remind me of the old Space Hulk figures. They go together similar I can't even say that word. A lot like that. I really just cannot say that word. Similarly, holy shit. What is the matter with me? Very similar. I see I could say that. These do remind me of the old Space Hulk figures. Um, the little Terminators and those things were fantastic. They went together beautifully. All right, so this is Veteran Sergeant Ramus. This is I think this is the boss guy. At least he's the guy at the, giving the orders on top of the box. He needs more purity seals. I find the lack of purity seals in this collection a bit I will have to check into that. If there's a board game, that might be something fun to pick up. Of course, if you got to go and, if it's just the board and then you got to go buy $150 worth of squads to play a game. That's how Games Workshop gets you. We are working on some of these little Warhammer heroes. Just putting them together and getting ready. Next week, I'm going to paint one of them and give them away. So you finally made it. How you doing? Why keep the box? I'm going to keep one box. But I will tell you, I'm genuinely happy with how these figures are going together. We'll see how they paint. That is always an interesting test because I have Space Marines have never been super difficult for me to paint. But the more detailed some of these get, you have to get really careful with some of those primers because they will just eat those details. You want it? Ah, look at the picture, Max. Tells you everything you need to know. That's a neat little guy. And I have used zero glue putting any of these together. Now, before I prime them, I will probably do a little thin brush just to make sure, especially where they're named characters. You're not really going to be needing to change out their weaponry or anything like that. They've got what they got, and that's all they got. So that means we are missing 2. Now, I'm not sure. I might see if I can find those. I don't know. Depends on what the kid wants to do. It's her set, her coin. So we might see if we can find the other 2 figures so she's got the full squad. And paint the whole squad. They're dark angels, so it's really, they're not difficult to paint. This green is absolutely not going to work, so they're going to get completely primered. And see if I can show you some of the detail on these a little bit. Hello, everybody. They do. I'm genuinely impressed. I've never really been disappointed with a Games Workshop figure. There's been a few that some of the modern stuff that they're doing. It is really, they've got good detail. And even if you didn't, you know, not everybody wants to paint figures, and especially when you start dealing with 25 millimeter. It sometimes it's the best thing you can do is you're playing Blood Angel, Blood Angels. You paint them red. These are Dark Angels. You paint them dark green. Get some dark green primer, and then put them on the board, and you're good to go. So it's not everybody wants to paint. Me, I want to get down to eye color and put some little bits down on the base, so it's I always enjoyed painting miniatures a lot more than I ever enjoyed miniature tabletop gaming. So I'll get these all prepped up and get a few washes, do some painting with them. Probably won't get them finished next week, and I'll have all the prep work done. So if it needs, but there's no flashing to remove. I would be comfortable if I was average Joe modeler throwing a little bit of green primer on these and calling it good. They're really Games Workshop is absolutely overpriced. But for the level of detail you get with one of these figures, that they're still really well done. And hats off Games Workshop. You've come a long way, baby. So again, I'll check into it. I don't know. Diaz says that there's a board game that goes with this, squad based. I'll look into that, see if I can find some information. But if you see some of these little blind boxes and you're into 25 millimeter stuff, these are definitely worth a pickup, especially for $8 a box. That's $8 for that. Some people that's a whole lot. It's more than I got to spend on things right now. So it but when I was doing Warhammer, man, I don't even want to tell you how much I spent. Yeah, it's called the name of it is a Kill Team Strike Force Varial. Oh, the board game is called Kill Team. That's definitely worth looking into. Like I said, if it's anything like the old Space Hulk game with the Terminators and Games Workshop used to do some really fun board game stuff. That's half a gallon of gas. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, tell me about it. That I had to make a trip today to Shreveport for lovely assistant's doctor's visit. And I was like, I just filled up this tank yesterday. And it's already I don't know, I don't want fucking talking about gas prices now. Oh, the shit people will do to not have to talk about the Epstein files. You go pay for it in gas. That, mm, mm. I will check out. Kill Team might be worth picking up. I'll you know what? Let's take a look at it real quick. I really want to see Hammer. Oh, 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 Lord of mercy. Yes. Oh, dear God. Yes. All it was, we got really lucky. All it was, the AC did get fixed. Wrote a nice fat hot check for it, but the capacitor was out and it was a couple pounds low on the Freon. So, but we haven't checked the Freon on it in like the three or 4 years. But yeah, I am not dying. I'm not having to put an ice pack. It's listen, the last week of my life, I didn't want to talk about it tonight, but the last week of my life, I have never felt closer to death. And they've had my head cut off, not figuratively. That not having AC in this house, it would be 70 degrees outside, and I think it got up to 89 degrees in this house. And it was, I'm really trying to watch my language on this show, but I will tell you, it was fucking miserable. Okay. Warhammer Kill Team, the starter set is $114. And then you have to, and then, ladies and gentlemen, you have to pay another $70 per kill team. You know what? I have wasted my whole life. I screwed up. I screwed up. I have just, I should have started a games workshop like, that's how I should have done business. I should have figured out something to just, get your pants unzipped, and then the hand job is extra. It's $100 for. Oh my God, that's little assistant. These are all you're getting. You ain't getting that game. We're just gonna have some minis. That's it. At $114, and then it's $70 to be another $70 to be able to play it. That is some downloadable content, Blizzard shit right there. Dude, you know what? Hey, listen, I don't know. I think I do okay. I think I could come up with a religion. I think I'd do okay with that. It's and I've got enough experience, growing up listening to the old tent revivals, and they got a. I had to explain. I was explaining the system to my kid the other day. You had the friendly banter. Sarah Sue is making some cookies this weekend. Y'all come by and do this and this is happening and we got that new roof. We got the AC fixed and all this and okay. Well, that's all you're getting. Here's this plate we're going to pass around. You're going to pay me to finish what we come to talk about today. And it's a beautiful system. Beautiful. Pass that tithe bowl. And the history of it is actually really neat because it goes back to the old, that there used to be some, I mean, hell, it goes back to human history. You'd have some, I beat stone good. Give me, piece of meat. Entertainment. You pay for a movie, pay for a TV show. You used to be able to. You had some people who traveled around who would you pay just to hear one verse. Well, hell, you go back to the medieval times. Very little of any religious documentation was all in Latin. The average man couldn't read that shit. So to be able to hear it spoken into English translated, you give them a piece. So that's kind of where historically it all comes from. It's entertainment. You pay to be entertained. Pay the bard. He'll sing you a song and tell you a tale of your daughter and wife. The old, a lot of the religion around southern parts, it all started from, tent revivals. You'd have some pastor come to town and, you gets that friendly banter. And then when it come time to hear about the hell and damnation and the fire and brimstone, you put your money in the pot first. And, which, hey, listen, the problem is we took it out of the tent where we could run them out of town easy, and they started putting them in buildings, and that's it. Like and subscribe for part 2, everybody. Good night. Oh, my camera off button doesn't work. What the hell? Now, anyway. I love you, Haystack. Yeah, I mean that. And YouTube has a little bit of that. I'm not talking shit. You've got memberships when you get enough subscribers. It's something I am actually shooting for. So I can do members only content. It's only $1 a month to membership at Rowdy Riles page, and I highly recommend it. It's $1 well spent. But, you wipe you waste more dollars than that on stupid shit. Get something you'll enjoy, and it's worth it just for the bloopers. So tell them Max sent you. It's just the way the world works, I guess. Maybe I should put everything back into Latin. So, well, yeah, of course. I'm gonna make you earn it. Don't worry. People's. I'm not able to do memberships yet. You can't. And when I do, I will definitely have some planned out members content. I've actually been thinking of a few things. I've got an idea for right now I'm just doing once a week shows. I used to get on twice a week. We used to do a thing after some people's members only content because not everybody has $1 to spend. I know I'm a broke ass right now, so it I used to do Go to Bed, which was a show that a lot of you've been on, but for those who don't, it was an after show. So a lot of people would do an after show. It would be members only, and some people weren't members. So after that show was over, I would do something for everybody else, get on and talk about things. And, it was just talking. It was open invite. Anybody could hop on. And so it just kind of got to where everybody was doing that shit. It's everybody talking over everybody, and it got to be too much. Why do you want to listen to 10 people all trying to get their it's just too much. So I'm working on another show right now because I want to do a second show. Because y'all don't sue me enough. I know you want more. The Fez calls to you, and that's okay. It's only natural. It feels your love. Things are great. Just hide your cookies up here. So, we're not talking about movies, Diaz, but I've already seen Lady Terminator. It's pretty good. That's my kind of bad movie. But I've got an idea I'm working on right now for a second show, and it's definitely going to be something that's kind of gonna go. I'm taking it back to my roots. I wanna, I want to get more voices on the stage and to talk about some things. But I also want to not saturate it. So I think I've got a neat little system that I'm sure if it works, at least 10 people that I could think of will start biting off of it. So and that's fine. I think it's a good system. I've just got to work out a few kinks, not those kind of kinks. Man, I don't know, maybe a few of those kinks, but man, I miss Brother Lloyd. I'm there was nobody's sermon that I wanted to sleep through more than his. His voice just lulled me to sleep. My narcolism, my sleep apnea just couldn't succumb to his voice every time. And he was. Let me explain, but for those who don't know. So my mother had dear mother, she really had one demand. You were going to Sunday school. The church was never my bag. I once got baptized because I wanted to see this girl's boobs really, really bad. And even after I did it, she still wouldn't show them to me. So but all my friends were there, including Mr. Haystack right here. And So he had to suffer with me. And so we used to have to go to Sunday school. And I am not a morning person. I've never been a morning person. Um, and I just sleep. I don't care what you've got going on. If I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. And that church had these padded pews, and I would get in the farthest back corner, and it was Haystack's job to make sure that he woke me up before I started snoring so loud that everybody in the church was paying attention to me and not Sunday service. So, and um, bringing back some childhood trauma here. I was a little too inquisitive to be a proper Christian. Um, I have nothing against it. In fact, I think there's something to learn from almost any religion that you could pay attention to. There are beautiful things to learn from in the Bible. There's beautiful things to learn from in the Quran. Buddha had some great wisdom. Um, it You name it. Basically, it all comes down to don't be a piece of shit, and you know, don't screw your neighbor's wife. That's uh, don't kill your neighbor to screw his wife. That no matter how hot she is, that's bad. Don't do it. Um, don't take his wheelbarrow and not bring it back. That Bring back your neighbor's wheelbarrow. Some of you right now are thinking, right now, you're like, you know what? I bet that shit's out in my shed. Take it back to him. It's cool. That's fine. Um, I do have a church though, and that is the Church's Subgenius. Praise Bob. Bob needs your dollar. And if you haven't sent your dollar to the Church of the Subgenius, then where will you be on X Day? Because it's coming, and it's coming soon. Mm. Anyway, I should probably. Was I talking about something? Was talking about me sleeping through church services? I learned a valuable lesson with with church, and my mom making me get up in the morning and going to Sunday school, which was keep your mouth shut. I didn't learn that lesson very well because yapping is what I do best. But used to just have to go to Sunday school. That was it. Went, kicked it with Haystack, drew some pictures while we learned about whatever, moral thing, and and it's um yeah, and listen, anybody who wants to hold on. I don't know if I want to put my email out there like that. But um well, I was talking about something, then I seen Haystack said, "Let me send you $1." Uh, so I was just so tired one Sunday morning, And my mom was like, "Get up. You're going to Sunday school." I don't want to go to Sunday school. I want to sleep, mother. I want to dream of dreaming, and then I want to sleep some more. And she was like, "Nope, get up." I was like, "Why do I have to go?" Dad doesn't have to go. My dad enjoy, it. And I think I figured this out as a parent that when you send your kids off Sunday morning, then there's some quiet in your house. So I don't think my mother actually gave two shits whether or not I found God or developed a moral code that kept me from sleeping with the neighbor's wife in order to steal his wheelbarrow. Um, I think she just wanted 2 hours in her fucking house where kids weren't screaming and yelling or they're throwing shit or, whatever, kids do make existing. And it did make for adequate adult time, I'm sure. I don't know. Whatever. It's I'm scared to ask my mother. She might tell me. So, but as a parent, it seems reasonable. And so I piped up one day. I was like, "Well, Dad doesn't have to go." So she made him go. And that asshole found God. And then we didn't just have to go to Sunday school anymore. We had to go to Sunday school, Sunday service, Sunday night, Sunday night service. Then Wednesday, actually, I didn't mind Wednesdays because we had the best potluck. And dear gods, them ladies could cook. There was one little lady named Imogene. I miss that woman. Rest her soul. And she used to make these little bonbons, and they were like peanut butter. They're probably the reason I'm a type 2 diabetic today. I'm still probably working the fat off from them damn bonbons, but they were these Reese's peanut butter balls with dipped in this chocolate. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, I can get that at the store. No, man, I don't know how she made these things, but they were amazing. So amazing. Just don't go. Problem solved. Yeah, I'm sorry. Have a good night of work, Rowdy. Thanks for stopping in. Man, listen, there's a lot of people out there in this world. They don't want me to go too old school because I got some stories that they don't want told anymore. That's it. Yeah, it's all you need. Don't sleep with your neighbor's wife. Don't kill people. Be nice. But I once got, yeah. Listen, I don't want to get in too much on religion. I will. I'll tell you some stories. Haystack will tell you how I got suckered into because I think he got suckered in too in doing some little Bible play, for whatever shit they do to brainwash children into all this crap. The point of I can't remember, the Backyard Gang or somewhere there exists a DVD of this, and if I will destroy every friggin' copy I can find. But bottom news was the bully of the neighborhood, which I got to play because if the shoe fits. And the bully only needed to find God to be a better person. He didn't need his ass beat. He didn't need, to find out what was going on at home. Because, bullies aren't just bullies because, at that no no therapy to work this kid through some of the issues that are bringing him to the point where he's wanting to bully some of the other kids. It was just because he didn't have Jesus. That he that was it. All problems solved. Dead stop. Period. Good night. See you next week, Johnny. That was it. And it reminds me, I think it was a little bit plagiarized. When I was in fourth grade, there was a book that really stuck with me on this premise. Um, it was fourth grader book. It actually is probably even, I've never seen another copy of it. I'd like to find a copy of it because it stuck with me for 50 damn years. This book, it was called The Bully of Barnum Street. Don't know the author's name. I've tried to find copies of it. If anybody, oh my God, your little brother was my dog. Bless his heart. Your little brother deserves better than that. I love that kid. Um, there was a book called Bully of Barnum Street, and it was just this bully, and he would on Barnum Street, and he would go around and really terrorize the neighborhood. Insert random fourth grade level bully shit in here. Give me your lunch money, kick your sandcastle, frying ants with a magnifying glass, because you have no respect for other life forms. It just typical fourth grade bully shit. And the only thing this kid needed to not be a bully anymore was a friend. So new kid moves into the neighborhood, doesn't realize that this guy is bully. So he goes and befriends the bully, and all of a sudden the bully is just like, nobody's ever been my friend before, and I don't have the need to bully anymore. Basically, backyard gang, just instead of new friend in the neighborhood, insert Jesus. So it totally, I'm fairly certain that little religious play was totally plagiarized. But anyway, the bully of Barnum Street really stuck with me over the years. And after taking a couple psychology classes and stuff like that in college, I really just kind of broke it down. I had almost an entire thesis written out just around this book, because what I wanted to do in psychology was I wanted to do art therapy, and art therapy is basically extremely relevant to child victims of some kind of assault or trauma and stuff like that. So I didn't. I tattooed for 32 years. So, but that book really stuck with me, that this idea that you just, all a bully ever needed was a friend or something good to make him not be a bully. And as somebody who probably bullied more than a few people in my childhood, it I don't know, bullied might be a strong word. No, I don't know. Haystack can call me out on that one. I was a little asshole. So but what cured that wasn't just somebody showing up out of the blue and being my friend. Um, it, yeah, that's, I don't know, maybe somewhere out there in the world, somebody wrote that book. So maybe it happened to them. Maybe they wrote from experience, but, I don't know. I would like to want to find a copy of that, or at least find an ISBN find an author's name, research that a little bit more, and find out if it was based on. I mean, it's a fourth grade book. It was like, you know, line spacing was. We're not talking about the Cimmerillion here or anything too deep. It was a little fourth grade book, but for some reason, that book has just scratched at the back of my mind for oh, at least 40 years. So Kristen Bartz, man, I don't remember getting I know there was a couple times where I think I had a black eye. In fact is I know I did. I had a black eye for almost every semester of school since like fourth grade on. Um, I learned not to fight tall people with serious arm reach. Um, trying to remember what Kristen Bartz. Maybe they rung my bell a little bit too much because I don't remember that name. Um, Sounds like a chick's name. Did a girl try to beat me up? That I can believe. And I wouldn't hit a girl, so it would be easy to get beat up because I just, yeah, that, unless it was my little sister when she tried to change the channel from MTV. Love that girl. Didn't popped her in the with a remote, with a big old RCA Zenith remotes. And she just looked at me, made a face, didn't say nothing for 2 hours. Then my mom walks in the door home from work. Brother hit me. And I got my ass beat. I wish. You're gonna have to call me and tell me this story. I don't I'm trying to remember what happened. That oh no, I do remember that. Yeah. That wasn't Coastal Mart then. It was Pack-a-Sack. That's how you confused me because Coastal Mart was the place over there that we'd always go during lunch from junior high. You're talking about some grade school shit. I needed a friend then. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it a night. It has been wonderful having you here. And we're going to, let's see if we can find a good quote. Think we can find a good quote? Let's see what we can find. You know what? I wonder what's on page 1. The forward. That's what's on. This book has 3 main purposes: to verify half remembered quotations, to give the source of common sayings whose origins are forgotten, and finally, to suggest opposite quotations, apposite quotations. I'm sure I'm not saying that right. On particular subjects. It will be useful to authors, journalists, clergymen, school children, crossword puzzle addicts, politicians, students, speechifiers, and all those with imperfect memories. It slips as easily into the pocket of the dinner jacket as onto the library shelf. So, who shall we find tonight? I want to find the first quotation in this book, and let's see what it is. The very first one. Lucius Accius. 170 to 90 before current equation. Odarant doom mituant. Let them hate so long as they fear. Indeed. Good night,